Hi there. I'm starting a new little outreach project here. It's called Quilt Repair Tidbits. I'm going to be recording a short video every week highlighting a project that comes across my path in my quilt repair business. Sometimes it'll be a new insight, a new skill, possibly a really cool fabric, who knows, just whatever strikes my fancy. My underlying goal is to inspire you to come along for the virtual repair workshop that I am planning for January, February 2024. All the information is on my website, linked below. You can email me, also linked below, to be added to the interest list, the mailing list, and you'll be getting updates and more information as I schedule the workshop and registration opens. So I hope you come along. One of the great benefits in doing quilt repair work and looking at antique and vintage quilts and studying more about them is it's like having your own personal quilt show right up close. You can handle them and really explore the wonderful workmanship, workwomanship that comes across your way. You'll learn about fabric history, restoration and conservation techniques and supplies, many other things. All the participants will have the opportunity to bring a quilt or two for show and tell, and we will discuss and ponder what to do and how to take care of those quilts. So come along now and look at my first 2 quilts for tidbit information and fun. Tidbit number 1. On my work table, this is a grandmother's flower garden quilt made circa 1980. Here's a block I repaired using a large floral print to patch over a very geometric print. Color ended up being the most important factor to letting the new fabric blend in with the old. On a previous visit to what I like to call my quilt spa, I patched this block with a fabric that looked pretty good. It's the one in the bottom center. On this most recent visit, I found I needed more of those hexes but didn't have more of the fabric. You can see sample fabrics pinned on during the choice process. The final result: I decided to remove my prior patch and replace it with the new fabric that I found on this trip. This is exactly the same dynamic as in the second photo. Color was most important in letting the new fabric blend in with the old. I found myself ending up patching with fabrics that at first glance I was sure would look terrible. They certainly aren't exact matches, but they end up being just right. The moral of the story: try every fabric you possibly can, even things you're sure won't work. Tidbit number 2. This is a Schoolhouse quilt, made, I believe, during the late 19-teens, maybe into the early 20s. I recommend it against patching, also known as restoration, and for covering the worn fabrics with a fine netting, also sometimes called conservation, just to protect them. And it seemed most appropriate for this family heirloom quilt. Here's the most damaged block. The fabrics are very ragged. This block also has the highest color contrast, which means one color of net doesn't look equally good on both fabrics. My assistant Pam and I agreed that patching with 2 colors of net would look the best: a light netting for the sky and building structure, and navy for the house shapes. So you can understand why I think this quilt is such fun and the block is so special. Here's a quilt with the traditional Schoolhouse block. Thanks for stopping by.